Hello everybody! Today is the second video of my Becoming a Performer series, and today I'm gonna become a pageant queen. Ever since I was younger, I've always been interested in pageants. I used to watch Toddlers and Tiaras all the time, but I was never allowed to do pageants. Like, I've always seen pageants as something a little bit more than just get on stage and look pretty. I've always seen it as a system that gives a lot of girls and women great opportunities and ways to improve as people and like functioning members of society. It gives you great public speaking skills, you do a lot of community service, and also the glam side of it. Love that. So I'm here for pageants. I'm team pageant. So today I'm gonna be meeting Miss Long Island 2024. Her name's Wang. She's gonna be training me in all things pageant. I'm really excited. I'm gonna leave soon to go train as a pageant queen.
Hi everybody, my name is Katie Wang. I'm Miss Long Island 2024.
Contestant number 3.
A little bit different for swim than it is for gown. So gown is a lot slower, which to be honest, I kind of struggle with because I just find it easier to walk fast. Whereas swim is a little bit more like energetic and peppy. It does depend again on the pageant system. USA, they kind of describe themselves as like the girl you wish lived next door, whereas America's like the girl who does live next door. Something like that. Like it's like whatever, like okay. Whereas there's like Grand International, like there are other pageant systems where what they're looking for is a little bit different style. Sometimes with more like personality, a little bit more young and fresh. I'll just do like what I do, Long Island, like the USA kind of thing, which is a little bit more like less like fun, peppy, less movement, but still like a lot in the hips is like the primary thing. Also, I'm no expert, so you're an expert to me. Well, you know. So for swim, usually what happens is like there's a runway over here, and you're going to be filtering in one side or the other. So say I'm coming in from this side, usually there's a girl, she goes down, comes back, and then it's my turn. So then usually you walk out and then you kind of like, you know, do a little like pose as you come out, and then the judges are gonna be there, you do like a big smile, and then with swim, it's like the first step you want it to like mean something. So it's just kind of big, and then like a big hip swing and a lot of smile, and then you come down and you do your little pose, like you strike, and then you do your little spin, and then you kind of come back and swing. Okay. So it's a lot of hip. That's like the big thing, and like like a lot of kind of zest.
Okay. So I, like you said, like walk.
Yeah. You walk up to there. Good. Perfect.
Is there like a certain like foot position or like?
Yeah. So that's perfect actually. Yeah. I mean, they describe it as like a T stand. I do like 45-degree because girl, my legs don't do that. But yeah, perfect.
And then.
My
first step.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
I don't know, like my arms.
Okay, that's even easier. Yeah, if you want to break it down to like each step, like we can totally do that.
Okay,
so for arms, okay, this is, girl. So what I do with my arms, because sometimes you see a lot of girls actually, where like they're walking and they have like one arm doing it and the other one's like not really moving. So just try to make your arms do the same thing. The thing that I think about is I don't think too much about my hands or my forearms. I really think about the shoulders down to the elbow. That's just kind of how I think about it. You've ever seen like Marilyn Monroe walk? And like, you know that scene where she has like that orange dress and she's like walking? She does a lot of like, it's almost like a shimmy with her shoulders, and that's kind of what I try to do. So it's like I only, and if you think about it too, it's like she's moving only really the tops, and then if you like the bottom of her, like, you know, like the forearms just kind of move along with it. So when I step, I kind of let this shoulder kind of drop a little bit, and then this step, and then like this shoulder drop. And it's easier to have this movement when you also shove your hips out. So like you focus on the hips, shoulders back, and then just try to like keep your shoulders loose, and then not care about this. Usually it falls into place, but we'll see. Yes. Good. And then pose. Perfect. Yeah, so you want to do a pose at the end, we can do that. So a pose at the end, it again varies based on swim or gown. So for swim, I usually do kind of like the leg out, and usually you want the arm to be bent, which you did it perfectly, the arm to be bent that you're kind of like putting that weight into. And then there's a whole variety of things you can do. My kind of standard one is I go this way, and then I usually do both arms as I shift to the other side. And then I usually take this like stretched out leg and I tuck it back into that pose that you had before. And then I kind of do a step and then a turn and then I walk off.
Oh, step with the back leg?
So let me see. It's actually the front leg, which is so funny because when I was practicing, that for me was really not intuitive. I was like, wouldn't I like want to go like that? Yeah. When you tuck this leg back, you want to reset your weight into this back leg before you take the step. Otherwise, I have the same like inclination where you tuck it and then you want to move. But instead, tuck it back, reset, and then you move with that front leg. Perfect. That's it. That's exactly right. 1, 2. Perfect. That's perfect. And then good. Reset, step forward, and turn. Yes. From here, I think you went this and then turn, which is definitely an option. I think the most standard one is actually when you take a step here and you take another step and then turn. Yeah. Exactly.
Cool. So I'll try it from the
Okay. Perfect. Yes. Keep the shoulders loose. Lots of movement. Great. Yep.
And then don't forget.
No, you got it. Good. Take that leg, tuck it behind you.
Oh, okay, got it.
Perfect. Take a step forward with your front foot. Another step. Spin.
This way.
Yes. Exactly. I was looking at that. No, you're picking it up so fast that it don't even work.
And then just walk.
Yes. Exactly right.
So for like posture, you have to do specific things to learn
posture. So shoulders back is definitely one. The owner of Miss Long Island, she served as our like pageant coach up through Miss New York USA. She would always tell me, because as you can tell I'm on the shorter side, so she was like, Katie, like you gotta like stretch up because I like gain an extra inch when I just like try to, you know what I mean? So definitely like think tall is helpful, like think tall, think elegant. And I learned this in like school, like in med school, so it's nothing really to do with pageants, but I always thought shoulders back, like you go kind of like this. But in reality, you don't want to do that. You actually kind of want to take the muscles here. You want to like basically shove them down and back. And then that gives you almost a longer neck. It makes you look, that's perfect. You look at it.
I'm like,
you look perfect.
I'm like, not breathing.
I'm so relaxed right now. A stretch tall, a longer neck, and like that to me, I think, helps with my posture a lot. It's tough to keep that balance of the posture and the elegance, but then the movement too, because you need to make it seem natural. With gown, since balance is a little harder, I find teetering on heels as you're trying to go like super slow is like kind of a pain in the butt. So what I find is that I tend to like shift my hips forward a little bit. It's a tough blend because you don't want to, you know, like be completely like this. There's this one girl, Catriona Gray. She was Miss Universe, I believe 2018. I hope that's correct. She does a lot of this lean, and it just has like a commanding presence to it, and I found like helped a lot with balance, especially when it comes to gown. For some reason, I feel like it's a little bit more stable when you're going super slow.
I see that, It reminds me of, you know, the model Shalom Harlow?
Yes,
it reminds me of her, like she was very, like she would always
She does do that, right? Okay.
Could I see like what the evening?
Sure, absolutely, I prefer to keep it simple on performances, because like if you come out and then you do a whole kind of like this and then like fall, it's like girl. So it's nice and slow, and then you do your kind of little like spin. Gotta remember to take your time, which is something I always forget on competition. Then you take a moment, you pause, and again, you want to take even more time than you would in swim. You look at the judges, sometimes I like kind of come up like this, and then it's just nice and elegant. And again, the smile. And then the same thing, you do your little come to the front, you do your little turn, just look at everybody. You can do that again. Some people, they like to do their little walk and spin again, and then kind of intentionally put your arms down, and then keep going. Honestly, I probably still did that too fast.
And then
love it.
Look forward first.
That's let's do that version first, and then we can do the whole spin stuff. So look out and and enjoy the moment, and then you can start moving. Okay. Beautiful. Stunning. Yep. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes, do the around. And then to get out of this, you can just do another circle forward. And then as you're walking back, you can slowly sort of drift the arms down. Great. Keep the shoulders moving. Yes, that's it. That's exactly right. And then that you just actually walk off. Which parts do you want to go over again?
Maybe like the beginning.
Yeah, let's do that. You walk out, you start inwards, and then kind of come, or from your position, you come this way.
Oh, got it.
Beautiful. It feels silly, but like you bring your arms up for dramatic effect. Good. Start walking with your arms on your waist. That's perfect. Start to drift them down. Yes. You do another little circle, kind of same motion. Perfect. And then come back center. Good. Then you do your little circle again. And then you just walk right back down the middle, the way you came, and then you can bring them down. Exactly. And then you just walk off. Yep. Exactly.
What is the one most important thing our society needs?
That would be harsher punishment for parole violators, Stan. And world peace.
It's like you go up like nice and peppy, confident, similar energy to swim. You stick your arms here, you stick them here, however you like, and then Catherine Wang, early detection saves lives. And then big smile, and then you kind of just walk off.
Okay, so for my platform,
Yeah.
I was like thinking on what I'd want to do. If my platform like is specific to Long Island, I was thinking like making transportation more accessible.
Love that. That's great.
So like, how would I communicate that exactly?
Okay, so for that, I would say like, what's a good like punchy? Connecting Long Island through, you know, or like building community through transportation. Like, also that then. You know, it's like philanthropic, it's humanitarian, it's all those things, and then it kind of accomplishes what you want.
Okay, so I'll try that.
Yeah, perfect. Walk high energy, big smile, yes, strike your little pose.
And then I just say it?
Yeah, okay.
I'm Jordan Pompey, and I'm building community through transportation on Long Island.
Stunning. Yes! Wait, that was perfect!
Describe your perfect date.
It's a tough one. I'd have to say April 25th.
How do you usually train for interview then?
Yeah, okay, so a bunch of different things. I listen to like NPR every day. New York Times also has a podcast called The Daily. They're really short, they're each like 20 minutes, so I started to listen to those. There are also questions online that are very helpful. I think there was one pageant queen who's part of some training agency. It was like, I don't know, like 200 something questions that you should prepare for. You've seen like this congeniality where it's like, and world peace, you know, like that kind of question, yeah. So there's that component too. So those questions were kind of a mix of like both interview and on stage. On stage is a little bit different format. But other than that, I think overtraining, I personally think can get you into trouble. You don't want to like come in and look like too rehearsed because the whole point is to find someone who's authentic and like really cares about their platform or about reaching out to the community and like becoming involved. Okay, yeah. So I'll just pick like a couple random. Try to put you on the spot.
Put me on the spot and then like be like, that was a really bad answer.
Okay, Miss Jordan, why do you want to win this title?
I would love to win the Miss Long Island title to serve my community the best that I can.
Stunning. Okay, how would you balance the title with other obligations?
That's a great question. I would balance the title with my other obligations by making a schedule for myself every day.
Love that.
With my 9 to 5, actually 9 to 5:30. With my 9 to 5:30, I would commit 5:30 to 10 to my Miss Long Island obligations. I don't know.
I get it. It's really weird. What can you do to encourage civic engagement in your generation?
Well, that's a great question as well. I'm Gen Z, and as a Gen Z, I know that we are all very connected to our phones and to social media. So why not go where the fish are swimming by putting advocates for civic engagement on platforms like TikTok and Instagram, where we already are, to engage with us and to influence us to be better.
Perfect. Love that. Okay. If you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Okay, I've heard of this question.
Yeah.
If I could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, I would choose... Wait, is there like a right way to answer?
No! Okay. That's weird. So literally whoever comes to mind, like whatever. Like it's your mom, it's your dog.
The first, or not the first person. The person dead or alive that I would have dinner with is Audrey Hepburn. Not only am I a fan of her movies and iconic style, but she also committed her life to community as well.
She's actually a really good answer. What is the key to success?
Key to success, in my opinion, is confidence. If you believe in yourself, it just sounds so like.
No, keep going.
If you believe in yourself, you can accomplish anything.
Great. No, good. This is fabulous. Like, I'm not even kidding though. When you go in there and you're in front of the judges and the nerves are going, you're just gonna say what you say.
Yeah. Should we go through each question you asked and like?
Yes, absolutely. I had said, why do you want to win this title? Right? I think you had a perfect answer for that. No. A thing that I think is helpful when it comes to your platform, for example, this would be a good one to like tie your platform in because it makes it more substantial. If you could tie your platform to like you personally, like some sort of personal experience, that's also very helpful. So say like as a kid growing up on Long Island, like you had experiences where you couldn't get to certain places, or like say no car, suburbia. So this one, balance the title with other obligations. So this one, I would say the less information, the better. When it's balancing this versus that, when they kind of set that duality up in a question, I would almost try my best to like not address that duality as much as you would if you were like genuinely answering the question. So you're aware of the obligations of the title. You naturally, like most other people, have other responsibilities outside of that. But I know that this is the year I'm ready for this title because blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? You don't like minimize it. You sort of mitigate the impact it could have by basically saying, I am one of many. Were you asking the question? You also have other obligations. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, oh, civic engagement, perfect answer. Really no notes on that. Okay, so dead or alive, I think again, go with your gut on that one. And I think you picked a really, really good role model for exactly what you're trying to represent, right? Style, the way she held herself, blah, blah, blah. But then also, she did a lot of community work. Oh, key to success, I think.
Oh, right. I said confidence.
Oh, perfect. I think that's good too. Having it end with like a confidence thing, perfect. It definitely is probably going to be one of the more common ones. If an answer is common, it doesn't mean it's bad as long as you believe it. So I know for myself in my life that confidence is like what made me who I am, then say it.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for filming with me today.
Of course,
I just wanted to ask a couple questions. How did you get into pageantry? You said that was your first
Yes, it
pageantry.
was. So I got into it for like a variety of reasons. During COVID, like I feel like we all have like crazy ideas. And so I was like, like one thing I'm, might want to try is pageantry. I have always been the kid who like in high school, college, like did a lot of extracurriculars. And then when I moved into med school, I was like, okay, like what are adult extracurriculars? And I was like, okay, like pageantry seems like something that, women, they're working women who are participating and it's very empowering. And I was like, let me just try this on for size. And I saw that it had a lot to do with like philanthropy and community, which are, important values of mine. I think it kind of started out from like a extracurricular standpoint to like occupy my time with a skill that I didn't have necessarily. And then it kind of moved more into like, okay, this is also like common, these are shared values of these women.
What has your experience been like? I can tell it's been like mostly positive.
For sure.
Has there been any like, I feel like there's a stigma around pageants, like, oh, it's like oppressive to women and stuff. But and I personally see it as more than that. Like you're saying, like you gain so many skills from it. But have you experienced like the other side of it where it's like negative or something?
So for the oppressive side, like not at all. I actually had a very, very positive year. Like don't get me wrong, like you go to appearances and like there are going to be some people who like, especially like men, right? Like if I'm getting, I don't know, like food or something, it'll be like, oh, just watch out, like some weird shit.
Well, that's weird on them.
Right? It's weird on them. They're not representative of pageantry, right? His response to me eating, like, all right, dude. I just made some like remark back. I'm like, oh, you should watch too. Like, because it's like, whatever. So there were some, interactions like that, but overall I think pageantry is a positive thing because it's generally run by women. Yes, so some of these companies are founded by men or have CEOs or board members that are men and like that, you can have conversations about that. There are some corrupt individuals. Overall, at least with my experience and when there's women who are at the helm of any of these organizations, it's been positive.
And then my last question is, do you think I have what it takes to be this long? This long in 2026.
I think if you really wanted to, I do think like there's an authenticity and like a genuity, you know what I mean, that people have when they end up winning. And like I think you have that, like like a natural positivity and like I keep saying like zest, but like a zest for life, you know what I mean? Like you definitely I think even naturally, like your walk in general, like you just sort of have kind of like that, I don't know, like movements about you that if you just like did a couple practices, like I definitely think that you could do it.
Oh my god, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Of course.